All right. Welcome back to another episode of Side Note, the podcast dedicated to underground electronic dance music and all things related. As always, I am your host, Nick, and with me this week is Gill, producer, promoter, DJ extraordinaire, head of the Flections DJ collective / community, as well as organizer of the pretty large Coalesce New Year's Festival.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's really cool to be here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, let me know if I forgot anything in like the description there.
You're okay. You're good.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming by. If you've listened to the show, you know that I like to kind of start off every show with kind of what was your last weekend like if you were playing out, and if not this most recent weekend, kind of what a typical weekend looks like when you are kind of doing your thing.
Typical weekend, we'll start with that. So a typical weekend is either going out or staying in. It's very different.
Right, it's binary, right?
Yeah. So when I'm staying in, it's me and my girl, my cat, relaxation, kind of just resetting for the week. Pretty standard.
Right.
If you live in Los Angeles, you really appreciate the reset when you get one. But if it's an active weekend, so the last thing that I actually did was Umbrella Weekend.
Okay.
With Afternoon Umbrella Fans. They're based out of San Diego.
So yeah, tell me about that. I don't think I've heard of that one before.
It's pretty cool.
Okay.
These guys, Malad and his whole team, they really put something nice together. It was...
Shout out to Malad and the team from Umbrella.
Yeah, seriously. He goes by Sprout.
Okay.
And so we had him actually at Coalesce, and we connected out there, and it had come to my attention that he wanted me and a couple of the other guys from Coalesce to play. We didn't really know what to expect. We throw our party, and we've seen desert parties, and this was a little different. It was like a micro lightning in a bottle.
Okay.
With like a Desert Hearts feeling, a little bit of like Coalesce vibe in there. It was honestly beautiful. And the way that it was set up was just so cool for particularly like the crew that we brought with us, like our Coalesce family came out there, and we were just really able to like get some really good team bonding going. And we actually had a little art project, a little puppet theater that we made to contribute. That was pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So definitely like LIB kind of burner vibes,
Yeah.
Bring
Exactly.
your art, bring a gift.
Yeah. So there was a, we didn't really want to put too high of expectations up, but it was definitely better than I thought it was going to be. We all had such a great time, and just like the team that put it on was just performing so well. It all seemed to be run really well. And they had 2 stages, which was cool. And I actually played on the Renegade stage.
Sick.
Yeah, that was fun. And that was the first time I've played like a smaller party where it was more than one stage.
Right. So how many people do you think like in attendance?
I worked gate, and then there was a number like 1,500
Wow.
thrown around.
Okay.
And that's a little bigger than we've ever done,
Yeah.
like with our parties and stuff. But don't take my word. I don't really know exact numbers, but
big.
It was big.
Yeah.
No, it was awesome too. It was really cool.
I was talking. I feel like I've talked to a number of guests about this recently, but not only does it feel like it's the golden age of rave in LA, at least since kind of the late '90s, early 2000s, right? It also feels kind of like a rebirth of the renegade scene.
Yeah.
Because for years now, all we've had is kind of like Moon Tribe, right? Which of course, like mad respect to Moon Tribe. And then like my friends throw like a very small renegade party a couple times a year, but we're only talking like 40, 50 people. But now I feel like post-COVID, there's been kind of this huge rebirth of all kinds of different crews throwing like really big, like really well-produced renegade parties, which is insane. Yeah, so I mean, like I think it's kind of, not only is it the golden age of rave, but it's sort of the golden age of the renegade scene, with crews throwing parties as big as Moon Tribe that aren't Moon Tribe, which is like a new thing in recent years.
Okay, so that was one of the first parties I ever heard about being thrown as a renegade in the Mojave was Moon Tribe. I was in college, and somebody just said, "Hey, have you ever heard of Moon Tribe? They really get down." And I didn't really know what to expect. Hadn't been to kind of like a burner-esque party, yet. And then the next year I went to a Desert Hearts and kind of was like, oh, so this is the type of party people can have. And then slowly made my way to Mojave and was invited to play Coalesce before I was a part of it. And, you know, Easy Up, some KRKs and some CDJs, and just so many vibes. Everybody was just like, you know, we're battling the elements. We're out here in the cold. It's New Year's in the Mojave. It gets down to like 20-something degrees sometimes. But just like the sense of we're out here roughing it, like having a good time, is really like the spirit of the Renegade.
Yeah, and I think there's a special sort of reward to the Renegade because of how hard it is to throw and get to.
Yeah, so the reward is huge, definitely. And we've felt those successes, you know, just being able to throw these parties and like clink our glasses on New Year's in the blistering cold at midnight. Right. So, yeah.
So I guess, you know, taking a step back, talk to me about kind of the inception of everything, right? Yeah. Like, where did your interest in DJing and rave begin, and then how did that sort of parlay into Reflections and Coalesce? Like, kind of give us the picture.
Okay, so before I was DJing, I was actually just learning how to make music, like on GarageBand or whatever. I majored in video production, communication design. Okay. So was toying around with audio one day instead of, you know, video editing, and was like, oh, like I can paint a picture for people visually with audio. Like that's what music is. Yeah. So that's kind of like the aha moment. I want to make some music. Started making music, showed my buddy Jordan Handel, shout out Jordan Handel out in Vegas, Subtle Soul, down-tempo event out there. He actually had like a couple of 750s or 850s CDJs, and I don't even know what type of Pioneer mixer, but I learned on that. Okay. And I kind of showed him a little ones and twos about production. He was able to show me the ones and twos about how to mix. And before that, like I had messed around on a controller or whatever, but like to actually touch the turns, like the jog wheels, it's a different feeling. Yeah, yeah. It makes you feel like a big boy, so it's definitely, that's kind of what turned me on. I would, you know, play his music. He was very like deep playa, like thumpers, and just learning how to beat match, and just like having him like making food in the kitchen and having me like just, if I got a good mix, you would hear from the kitchen like, yeah. Or you'd hear,
I feel like I've definitely been there. Been there, yeah.
But that was kind of the inception of my mixing, and that was like, what, 2012? Okay. 2011 maybe. And I had been trying to like make music more. That was kind of more of my focus before. But yeah, just got those weekend sessions with my boy Jordan. And that was the inception.
So had you been to raves before at that point?
Let's see. We kind of were actually. So I went to college in Chico State, right? Okay. Not much going on up there for the electronic scene besides like the event company that I worked for called Epic Productions. Shout out Matt Whitlock, Russ Gomery, Epic Productions. They basically, they would have the bigger artists in the theater that's up there, the Senator Theater. And that's kind of where we would all go. Like we would see, who would we see? Data Life and...
Oh shit, okay, know,
like those bigger EDM
like, kind of like mainstream.
Yeah, so that was the EDM fix. And then we're like, okay, we've done this. And then Dirty Bird like was the real big like click discovery for like cool record label. Right. Like...
Shout out to Claude.
Yeah. Shout out Barkley and that whole team. But mostly just like discovering, like going to, what's that place called? It just shut down in San Francisco recently, but they used to have the Quarterly there. Okay. The Dirty Bird Quarterly. And I remember we went to our first Dirty Bird Quarterly, saw Cats and Dogs, and we were just like, holy shit. Like,
oh yeah, they're good. They're good, yeah.
These guys were throwing down. I mean, they were all throwing down, but that was like the standout, like, whoa, like this isn't just like the EDM we've been hearing. This is like more like underground.
Right, right.
It's tight.
It's the real shit.
Yeah. And then it all starts evolving, right? Then you go, my experience was I went to Desert Hearts, probably discovered more of the burner vibes there. Okay. that was probably like the leap into let's get underground.
Right.
Like, let's do this, but let's keep it cool. Let's not try and blow up, but let's be sustainable.
Yeah, I haven't been to a DH myself, but from what I've seen, I've been to Subtract, shout out, and I feel like it's all kind of in the same kind of general ecosystem.
It's in the same ecosystem, but there is nothing like a Desert Hearts dance floor.
Interesting.
You can ask anybody. It's pretty nuts.
Okay.
Like for the States, like I've heard of great parties overseas and like south of the border and everything, but the Desert Hearts dance floor was definitely like, whoa, we're here to dance, we're here to party.
Right.
Because now, I mean, before and after, it was very like, I wanted to be a librarian of sorts and be like, shh, this is a dance floor. Like, there's no talking on the dance floor.
People are there up for it. They're down.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, there's talking, but it was more like, that's what opened my eyes to like, I want to create that vibe.
Okay.
Like, why can't we like throw our own party like this? And I'm sure that sparked a lot of people that are throwing parties right now too. Did it right.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that their influence, across the SoCal scene is at this point like indelible, right? Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been to a party and I see people wearing like the DH pendant. I remember like someone was asking me like, "What is that?" I was like, "Oh, dude, that's like the Desert Hearts pendant." Like, people are like,
I didn't even know what it was until my buddy flipped it over one time, and it's like DH.
"Oh, really?"
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
No, those guys are cool. I like them. I like what they're doing. And really over quarantine, like they pivoted hard for sure. And just like we're on Twitch grinding.
Yeah, they definitely created, I mean, much like Dirty Bird that you mentioned, they were really good about creating an online community during lockdown, and creating a platform for all of their artists to kind of continue to push it out, which is much appreciated. Yeah, I mean, to all creators during that time, right? Like such a blessing, because obviously I don't think anyone was having the greatest time of their lives.
Yeah, I can say that it was very difficult at first, but it presented me with an opportunity to kind of grow Reflections.
Right.
So I guess I can start on this.
Yeah.
Like for Reflections, its conception was January 19th, 2018. And me and my buddy Riley Wells, shout out Riley, we were just having, I think it was pho, might have been ramen, and we were just in Koreatown. I'm like, man, let's just live stream a DJ set. So we got the iPhone, put it on the tripod, Instagram Live, and that was our first post on Reflections Instagram. It's pretty funny. From there, it just turned into, well, I have video production and video editing knowledge. He's an audiophile and like audio engineering. So it was kind of the perfect match. Hit up all of the DJ friends that I have and he has, and we were able to just like start booking live streams. Like, hey, come in, got 3 hours, like we'll set everything up. And most people have never been in front of a camera DJing before. And this is 2018, so this is way before quarantine or like the fear of it or anything.
Right.
So we were a little bit ahead of the game in that sense. And then I guess, it just started building and growing, started doing more with the Mirrors Mix series. And that's just an intimate, like well thought out DJ set that you send to us. And it's supposed to be a reflection of your current self.
I see what you've done there with the reflections in the mirror.
Yeah. So we're trying to keep it on brand, and that all actually fell into play on the first day, that January 19th.
Okay.
So just like naturally, I was like, let's make it mirrors, a reflection of you through your sound, and it was just like, whoa. So that's where like the enthusiasm came from, right? And so to get back, we were just kind of ahead of the game with this live streaming. Shoot forward, March 15th, 18th, everyone's getting laid off or, has to go home. Everybody's getting locked inside. And we already knew what we were going to do. We were like, okay, everyone has the desire to like keep performing. So just like dove into Twitch a little heavier, dove into OBS a little heavier, dove into like just being able to kind of deliver and figure out how do we get everybody live again? How do we get people doing what they love?
Right.
In a nutshell. So push comes to shove, I was able to, through my girlfriend Caroline, shout out Caroline Cantrell. She's been working for the Do Lab for a while, and she's pretty close, obviously, with the owners. They were trying to figure out what they were going to do for their music festival. Like, Lightning in a Bottle's canceled. What do we do?
Right.
And I had all this live stream knowledge, so she threw my name. I got a call or an email from Jesse Fleming, and he was like, "Hey, can you help me out with digital Lightning in a Bottle?" And me and a couple other guys that we all got put together. There's like me and then 3 other like tech guys where it's like we're doing the OBS, the video engineering, the distribution and all of that. And then we were working with the Do Lab to like create this digital festival. And if anybody had seen the first digital LIB, like it was pretty immaculate what we did. I mean, we hit the front page of Twitch, like 26,000 viewers at one point.
I think I caught some of that. Yeah, I mean, the production on that was phenomenal, and
Yeah.
and I think, you know, that's something, broadly speaking, for so many of the collectives that were doing Twitch stuff. I'm like so impressed at sort of within the limited parameters that, you know, everyone had, people were able to kind of put up good shows.
It was incredible. I want to say from conception to the end of it, of that digital LIB, it was probably like 2 months.
Shit.
And that's like, it was crazy. It all happened so fast and it was executed so well. And I got to be a part of it. Next, after that success, I just kind of started reaching out to other festival promoters like Matt Whitlock.
Oh yeah, and for folks who don't know, the Do Lab promotes Lightning in the Bottle, and they also do the Do Lab stage at Coachella.
Yes, and they are a mom and pop festival shop. There's nothing corporate about those guys, despite how big of a party and how dope of a scene, and like, you know, it's not Insomniac, it's not hard, it's not like a massive. It is a massive, but it's
boutique.
It's
boutique, massive.
It's not corporate.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like people that are, you know, kind of hurt over the fact that they didn't get their money back for a ticket or weren't able to figure out the buyback program. It's like, these guys are coming out of pocket. These guys are trying to make sure that it happens. But yeah, shout out to Do Lab forever.
Yeah.
Seriously. But yeah, where were we?
You were just kind of talking about where it parlayed from there.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So from there, after LIB, I reached out to Matt Whitlock, and he did Epic Productions up in Chico.
Okay.
He also has a big hand in throwing Northern Nights Music Festival up in Mendocino, Humboldt County line. And Northern Nights is a very boutique festival. It is right up on the river, the Eel River up there.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of it.
Redwoods.
Okay.
Perfect weather. It's bliss.
Is it like kind of psytrance vibes, tech house vibes?
It's all like, I mean, there's a lot of bass music and there's a lot of house music.
Okay.
It's not like techno. It's not like trance.
Right.
It's a little more open. Those NorCal heads, they like their bass.
I was gonna say, the further north you get, the more bassy it gets. Yeah. The more breaks and the more bass.
Yeah, no, that's super true. And like, that's where I started too. You know, what was it, 2010?
Right.
Saw a Knife Party or heard a Knife Party song and watched the video, and we were just like, wait a second.
Yeah, what is this?
What? What is happening? That might have been some of the first like hard electronic music I've heard.
Okay.
But yeah, so to keep going, like I just reached out Northern Nights and was like, hey, like I just did this with digital Lightning in a Bottle. Let's see if we can do something. So we teamed up again with the tech crew that I teamed up with for digital LIB. Shout out Demi Digital Renegades, BDR. That's Mike, Subset, Mark, and Cameron. Shout out to those guys. Those are the 3 tech guys that really taught me how to take live streaming and digital broadcasting to the next level. So I teamed up with them for Northern Nights, and we were able to do it again. Like, able to throw a music festival online. And like, it's funny to talk about now because we're all back and we're all going to festivals. But like, if you were in the moment and you were at home and you were depressed and you needed that, we were there for you. And we were able to like integrate the Zoom rooms with like everybody hanging out and creating different like just polls and making it as interactive as possible. And after that, I was hit up actually by David Satori of Beats Antique.
Okay.
And he's really close with Dulab. So Jesse actually shot me his contact and vice versa. And David Satori hit me up and was like, hey, I'm doing the virtual mushroom with Paul Stamets for Burning Man.
Yes.
And I said, yes, please. And this one was actually something that I was able to pull off kind of alone. So I had the two experiences with DDR and like the tech team, right? And I didn't have them this time. It was just me. So I used all my knowledge that I could to teach these guys how to get like near zero latency with the stream and like how do we hook up the audio? How do we push people live? But yeah, the virtual Burning Man, it was the multiverse, I think it was called.
Yes.
Yeah, so there was multiple ways that you could tap into the multiverse. You could go in through VR, you could just go in through like your phone and just like run around the world.
And there were multiple virtual burns
Yes,
too, which I remember being really confused about. But I was like, oh, because Burning Man's decentralized, of course, so it's not all just on one thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what took everybody. It's like, where is my friends and which server do I need to get? Yeah. So I actually worked on, I forget the name, but I worked with Paul Stamets, David Satori.
Holy shit, man. That's like, you know, psychedelic goat right there, like mushroom goat.
Yeah, and I wasn't, I knew the name, but I wasn't fully aware of him. And it was me and him going through his stream check, and I'm just sitting there talking to Paul Stamets.
Wait, what was the show though?
So the show was, so the virtual mushroom was our area in one of the multiverses.
Okay.
So you could literally be like a little,
like an avatar.
Yeah, you were an
like,
avatar, and you were like, you could get on a bike. It was made with Unreal Engine.
Okay.
So it was essentially like GTA vibes.
I know which burn, because there were different virtual burns. One of them was like very like Roblox looking, very like Minecraft. There was one that was like Unreal, like total photorealistic, and there was one that was kind of in between. Okay, so it looks like you were in the photorealistic one.
We were in the super realistic one.
Okay.
Like these guys built a virtual mushroom that like if you roll up to the stage, there was like the bottom of the stem, and then you could actually like jump up some mushrooms and then get to this secret area. It was all very, very like intricate. But my job in all of this was making sure that David and Paul had the confidence in the distribution of the stream. So I did stream checks with every single live act that was there. It was probably like 5. Most of them were video like files that we were just making sure got played.
Okay.
Like at the end of this experience, I was just able to say like, we did it. And it's very Burning Man to be able to be like, okay, it was not easy. It was not fun, but you did it. And that's like the big reward. And yeah, shout out to David and those guys, all Beats Antique, Paul Stamets. Like,
but so the show itself though was just kind of a virtual mushroom that people could come walk up to and look at?
So it's a little, it's hard to explain in the sense that I don't know where to start.
Okay.
Because like you said, it's confusing. Like you get to a certain virtual world and then you're either like running around as an avatar or you're kind of just clicking different things.
Yeah.
This one was you created an avatar, you were on the playa, and then you kind of just like rolled up to different areas. Our area you could see in the distance was just this huge mushroom. And there was a bunch of different areas. Once you got within a certain area of the mushroom, then the sound would click on.
Okay.
And that's kind of like the dive in, like when you can actually hear everything. So that was kind of the show, and I was just making sure that everything got onto that screen that people saw on the bottom of the mushroom stem.
Okay.
It was very interesting. But the virtual mushroom is, I think, the Instagram at the virtual mushroom. So if you're curious to what we're talking about, it's that. But yeah.
Awesome. All right. So now, you went from getting in with Do Lab to this other festival in kind of the Central Valley. Now you're over doing Paul Stamets' Burning Man thing.
And this is all 2020.
Okay. Right.
This all happens in 2020. And after all that, I kind of came back to my crew, my Coalesce crew, and was like, well, let's do a Coalesce from home.
Okay.
And that kind of started us with kind of like my involvement, taking Reflections and combining it with Coalesce and just creating content.
Okay. So wait, how long had Coalesce been around? Because I had only heard of it kind of post-COVID.
So Coalesce has been around for 6 or 7.
Okay, a minute. Okay.
So they've been around, but we, like me, and my girlfriend Caroline, we got involved with Brandon Pepper. Shout out Brandon Pepper. He's the mayor of Coalesce.
Okay.
He started it. It was his idea. You know, he wrote down all of like the goals and the morals and like kind of like.
So there's like an ethos.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And that's all on the website, coalescenewyers.com. But after linking up with him, like Caroline with her profession in marketing and digital media, we were able to pivot the brand, make it look super professional from the outside, and actually deliver a really cool party to people. Because before it was, you know, it was a desert doof, it was a bush doof.
Right.
We were just out there, just like literally speakers, DJs.
Right, renegade vibes.
Yeah, very renegade vibes. But now it's become more like a family reunion of sorts.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of people that I've just noticed on socials that are like, going back to Coalesce with my girls, like, and they're all living in different parts of the world. And it's just cool. I don't know.
Interesting. So it almost sounds like you kind of have your own kind of DH vibe, right? And creating a community based around kind of, you know, this festival.
Yeah. It's more of a family than, you know, than a party that we're trying to grow.
Okay.
We're not looking for big numbers as much as we're looking for like big smiles.
Right.
And just like very, very like rewarding experiences. Because it's hard out there. It's cold.
Yeah.
It's the desert.
Yeah.
We're actually in Apple Valley now.
Okay.
Our cush little new location that we have. But
so you had gotten involved, you and Caroline, and you kind of upgraded their kind of outward looking branding a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was, you know, Brandon did a great job in just like creating the foundation and like the ethos.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as any good brand does, if it has the right people, it goes up.
Yeah.
And it pivots and professionalizes, and it's just, it looks like super clean.
Yeah. Because product is one thing, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like the product was good, always has been good. But, you know, it sounds like you kind of took it to the next level with some of the marketing.
Yeah.
And
no,
branding.
that's all Caroline. She's the wizard behind that. Oof. But yeah, she was able to pivot our brand and just like make it something that people really wanted to be involved with if they hadn't been already.
I mean, I remember seeing, you know, stuff about it on Instagram for the first time this past year and being like, wow, what is this? You know, it looks really put together, you know, huge lineups, like, and like the length, like the list of artists just alone is insane.
72 hours straight.
Yeah.
Yep. Wait. Yes. I think it's 70.
Yeah, and like, you know, several folks who've been on here, I think were slated to play or did play.
Yeah, we've had, in between Coalesce and Reflections, it's cool to see like who's getting involved in what. And then like talking to you, it's cool to say like, oh yeah, you had Dark Portals on and J-Woo.
Right.
Shout out to those guys, you know. So I think the underground dance community is definitely doing itself a favor and paying attention to each other more. And COVID might have helped with that. A little self-reflection, you know, like everybody's like, all right, am I really trying to blow up? What am I trying to do? And like, shout out if you're trying to blow up, like put in that work and you'll get places. But for the most part, like we're just trying to keep it steady and keep it and kind of just like polish what we have already.
Yeah. I feel that. I've mentioned it a few times, like there's a crew that I run with that has thrown renegade parties. They're a little older, so they've been doing it for like 20 years now. And yeah, it has just sort of settled into a place for them of just like, we just want to sustain for the family that we've accumulated over the time that we've been doing this. It's not really about the profit. It's not really about like blowing up as artists. It's like a reunion to your point.
Yeah. And that's what Coalesce is, full not-for-profit, like, if you have something to contribute, come on through. It's your contribution that is creating the experience.
Got it.
So this was the first year that we actually created a ticketing system.
Okay.
Before it was all donation based, $20. If you got it, like, of course, if you had, some people donated $100. Some people were like, I am pressed, but I need this. I want to come. We'll make, back then, like, we made compromises, but this year we had some capital for the first time, and we were able to.
And that's all from ticketing sales?
No, so capital came from like the crew. We're all just like, all right,
okay.
Let's throw down
People
a little bit of money.
Okay.
Let's throw down a little bit of money and let's make this party cool. And along with the ticketing, like, we were able to break even, and that is the biggest success in itself. We had never done it before, so we were like, we know what it takes. Mistakes were made along the way, but how do you find that solution and just make sure everybody's like, that was a sick party? Because at the end of the day, people are gonna see pictures and hear stories. Pictures last forever, and obviously videos do too, but there's something about like a picture of everybody like having a good time at your party.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Fuck yeah, that's all we wanted.
Yeah. It's like a little bit of like kind of FOMO mixed in with
Like, you missed that moment.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So, I mean, I feel like that kind of covers everything that you've been doing kind of more on the promotion side. Mm-hmm. And then, I see that you're DJing and producing as well. Kind of maybe talk about, the artist path. Yeah.
So shout out Reflections and Coalesce and everything that I do for everybody else. But Gill's on the up and up.
Right.
Gill's on the up and up a little bit. This Umbrella Weekend booking, this past event that we did, shit was super fun. Like, I had the most fun DJing. Played a bunch of originals, played a bunch of edits that I have, played a bunch of the Friends tracks. There's like 10 people at my set, and like, I played songs from like 2 of my homies, and that just makes everything for me. Like, I don't
actually, and like, so maybe describe your sound a little bit. I was listening to some of your mixes, I think on SoundCloud, or one of your mixes. Mm-hmm. I was kind of getting kind of maybe playa vibes, a little bit of hints of progressive. Though, maybe that was just the one mix. Like, how would you describe kind of your sound more generally?
If you hear it at a desert party, it's probably on my USB. Okay. Like, just gritty tech house is super fun if it's not corny.
Right. Which it can be.
Yeah, it can be super
admittedly,
corny.
Yeah.
But if you're like, if you're at a pool party in Vegas, sometimes you want to get corny. Like, it's fun.
Yeah.
But my sound, I would say, is just a combination of going to these desert parties, witnessing like amazing sunrise sets, witnessing like amazing primetime sets, and midday party like vibes. Anything that you would hear it like at those desert parties, like, I try and possess those sounds. I'm
trying to take it all in.
Yeah, because those are my biggest. Those
are
my biggest inspirations. Is like seeing my friends just up there, just crushing it. Like, my favorite DJs are all my friends.
Yeah.
There's no like idol that I want to meet. Like, never meet your idols, right?
Yeah. I've definitely got some shit to say about that.
But yeah, Gill, shit. I mean, I've been making music. I feel like I've been making more tracks. I've just been making tracks, but I want to make music more. I've made a couple of my projects have been more musical and more like less of just a track. It's kind of hard to describe, but I want to like take it to the next level where, you can drive to my music, you can dance to my music, or you can just sit there and listen to it.
Right.
With the tracks that I make, they're more DJ tools, like most of them anyways.
Got it.
So it's more like I'm trying to layer it up and use my sounds that I've made with other productions that are noticeable or noticeably better. But it's all still just an uphill battle, right? Like I said, I don't want to blow up as much as I want to be sustainable.
Right.
Like, there's certain people that I've never seen like someone kind of blow up and be super stoked on how they did it. Like, whether it was just that one song or like that one party. It seems like in my head, being sustainable and like never blowing up and just being like a local legend of sorts, like that's kind of like the end goal for me. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the direction that I want to go for Gill.
Okay. But even at that level, which is, still like an ambitious goal, right? I mean, because it's a crowded marketplace in Southern California, right? So, for you to kind of, or for anyone to kind of get to the level of like, say, a Theo or something, where everyone like knows him. He's played every rave for like the last 30 years or something.
Exactly.
That's still an accomplishment. So I guess, with that in mind, like what are some of the things that you feel like you have to do on a regular basis to like achieve that goal?
Just keep learning, keep your eyes open to what's going around in the community, pay attention to the trends. Like, pay attention to the trends. You don't need to hop on every trend. Like right now, like micro house and minimal is super hot. I try and make some of that, but I also try and throw Gill into it. And like a lot of my friends that make that type of music, they do just that. They throw their sauce into the mix. I don't know. It's all very, I don't know. It's all just something I think about definitely is what's next. Like, where am I going next? Like, what should I do next? I don't really have much of a good answer for it, I guess, as much of I'm still curious. Like, paying attention is definitely going to answer those questions more than anything. But, yeah, I don't know.
And then in terms of kind of, you're getting more bookings, so your profile is growing as an artist. And then meanwhile, you're sort of growing your collective, you're working with Coalesce. How do you sort of allocate your resources between that? And I mean, I would imagine that to some extent, it's all sort of feeds into the same thing, right? Because people know you as a promoter, so they might be more willing to book you as a DJ or something.
Yeah, so Reflections is kind of a cheat code to be like, book ourselves and go promote ourselves, just like aggressively promote ourselves, but not be egotistical about it.
Yeah.
Because it is all about community, but it's also, we started this for us.
Right.
Like, I'm going to reap the benefits of this for sure, but that's not the motive. It's just kind of something that's going to happen.
I guess, yeah, like, so in what way, right? So you've got this platform, you're putting out people's mixes and stuff, and then how does that sort of parlay into sort of helping Gill at the same time?
It's just networking. It's just being able to, like what we're doing now. Like, I used Reflections and met Jwoo, and now I know you.
Right.
And like, that's how I see this going well, is just keeping the networking alive. It's all part of it. Like, going a little more analog and going to the shows and meeting these people, opposed to just like reaching out on Instagram. Giving people a phone call, which is kind of aggressive, but like leaving a voicemail.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, you want to try and like bring it back down to basics to make it seem real again.
Yeah.
Because it is saturated and it is very repetitive. Like, oh, hey, or like, I don't know. Trying to approach it in different ways, I guess.
Right. So is your networking more to kind of funnel into Reflections then, and then that sort of parlays to other things, or is there like kind of a system or a process?
The system, I guess, is just, Reflections is definitely a vessel.
That's kind of the main kind of hub.
Yeah. For what I've started, or what I've kept going, what me and Riley started. But using it as a vessel for like all of the DJ friends, I'm able to push that, and then the hard work is kind of in the writing. So it's like, if I'm putting out music frequently enough, if I'm putting on these parties, if I'm putting out weekly mixes with Reflections and monthly mixes with Reflections, and just like that networking is just showing like, okay, Gill does all this, and then maybe they hear my music. Like, I'm not pushing that to everybody that I know. There's no point in doing that. They can see that, but it's all about, for Gill at least, like when I'm back there mixing and looking up, are people enjoying themselves?
Right.
Bottom line.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think anyone who DJs or gets into it is really, I think, they get captivated by the idea of being able to make people happy. Like playing the shit that they like to listen to.
I guess another inspiration would be just like, I lived with 3 other roommates in college, and it was always like, all right, who's going to grab the aux cord and who's going to fuck it up?
What do you mean?
So 2 of my roommates, they were down with like Sublime and like kind of like surf rock and like ska and that. One of my roommates really, really, really liked like heavy reggae, like dance hall, like aggressive reggae. And then me and my friends, we all liked like EDM, house and techno and stuff. So we would just be in my room, just slamming speakers. And then the aux cord out there would be slamming whatever it was slamming, but it was a separation of sorts. So I thought to myself, like, what do we all like? One day, just went out there, brick house radio on Pandora, plugged it in. We all partied.
Oh, brought everyone together.
That was an aha moment because I was like, well, if I can just select a playlist and get people to dancing together, what's to say I can't like curate a whole collection of songs and create an experience for people?
Dude, really interesting story too, because I feel like I've had that dilemma. Like, you hang out with friends from college or from grad school or something, and everyone's got their own different vibe. You know, like maybe it's for a bachelor party.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to like get everyone to come together. Like, I'm like, yo, where's the rave at?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
there's like other people are like, yeah, like where's my like top 40 hip hop shit? And like these like musical divides come and people like resent each other over like
A lot of whispering going on.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Like, dude, why does this motherfucker keep playing this fucking rap shit?
Yeah. It's
It
true,
can be
though.
a source of tension, right? When
Yeah.
people get together. So yeah, I mean, wow.
So the aux chord, yeah. If you're a good aux chord DJ, then you already have kind of those fundamentals of what it means to be a selector.
Yeah.
You're just creating an experience for people. You're making people dance. Like, dumb it down. And that's, the story of the aux chord and that Pandora playlist, Brick House Radio, it brought us together, and that was the eye opener.
Got it.
That was a big eye opener. I haven't really thought about that until just now.
Music brings people together.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Oh, shoot. I got some stickers for you, too.
Okay,
I'll never forget.
awesome. And I guess one of the things I wanted to ask is, so you're involved in promoting stuff, like you've seen a lot. So like, are there any kind of standout moments, whether it's just like somebody just, off their rocker, or, like give the people like some of the, like the dirty.
We throw a renegade, or we throw a desert party on New Year's for 72 straight hours. There's a lot of letting go. There's a lot of releasing. We have like a little bit of activities where it's like, write down what you're letting go this year, throw it in the fire, leave it in 2021, that type of shit. But there's a lot of letting go. There's a lot of indulging. There's a lot of partying. So I've seen the worst of it. We don't need to get specific, but like, if you don't take care of yourself, you get dehydrated, you take too many drugs.
Right.
You got to take care of yourself first. And that's what makes the community work. Self-reliance. And that's, one of the 10 principles.
Right. Yeah. Like Burning Man, right? Radical self-reliance.
Yeah. And all those 10 principles trickle down. Like, I've been to the Burn once, and it was just like ultra stimulation. Yep. Like, I'm so much more ready to go back and embrace everything. I couldn't talk for like 28 hours when I got there because I was just like, it's so big. Yeah. And I'm a talky motherfucker. Like, I have an opinion about everything. But I was just like, my friend Graham Barry, shout out Graham Barry, he took me and Caroline out on our first playa ride.
Oh man, that first one.
I couldn't talk. Like, I was just like, and then we just like rode out, just boom, like crossed the Esplanade, and then just started going. And I was just like, holy shit. So I don't know. That was that I was able to really appreciate what I had, and like, it just was so overstimulating and such a different thing and so exciting. Just all those mixed emotions. I knew that I wanted to, like, whether it was teach everybody like what I saw or what I learned or how it is out there, or just convey like what it can be, just using these 10 principles. Take care of yourself, take care of others, always be just willing to just involve yourself. Like, all of those things,
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up kind of the concept of radical self-reliance in the context of, being able to control your party when you're out, but that's exactly what that is, right? And obviously when you've been around the scene for long enough, that there are a lot of people that don't do it.
And that's the beauty of it, is if you have a good, tight community, like we do with Coalesce at least, and we're all taking care of each other. Like the core crew, the people that go, the people that are in the scene that maybe party too hard, and we know that, we're always going to take care of you.
Right.
Like, you're still part of the family. Like, you still play a vital role in what we're doing here. Without you, there is no this.
Right.
It's even if it's, there's people that aren't invited back to certain parties that we've had, but, that's life. Like, there's certain things that can't be forgiven. But for the most part, like, we're always a family oriented. Let's build you up. Let's put you on. And, I gotta say, we do that a little more than we should sometimes. We're definitely gonna take care of the Coalesce crew a little better this year and just like make sure that everybody gets their good set or whatever. Because I mean, for the past however long Coalesce has been going on, it's always been just make sure everybody else is taken care of.
Right.
And it's hard, you know. It's like that's all I want too, but like I'm gonna play a primetime set this upcoming year, and I definitely want to. And you know, whether I deserve it or not, or whether like people think that, it's like that. Sometimes you just got to switch it up, and it's all about growth. But I'm excited for what that holds for sure.
Did you guys only do the once a year thing, or
So
are there
that's
other?
that's the party. That's the big gathering. So it's not a festival; it's a gathering. It's in the sense that there's one stage, in the sense that there's not a lot of other activity. Like we have our T tent, we have our like other areas, but it's very one stage, one sound. Similar to DH. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. What did I say?
So one sound. Oh, I was asking if there are other parties sort of associated with Coalesce, or is it just the one? Event?
So it's really, since it was a not-for-profit, fully donation-based party, it was just the party that we planned for.
Okay.
This upcoming year, we were thinking about throwing kind of our first fundie.
Okay.
And we're not really sure if we're going to do that, but there is also word that next year, the beloved wenches of Coalesce, all of the hardworking women that keep us boys in line, they've taken back that word pretty well. The wenches, they might be having a event next year, fully thrown by all of the girls.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so leave the boys out of it. Let's see what the girls can do. I'm pretty sure they're going to throw a better party at some point.
Yeah.
If it's not this year, it'll be soon. But I'm really excited to see what the wenches
Look
do.
forward to the branding on that too, or is it just going to be the Coalesce Wenches party?
I mean, I don't even know what the name would be. Like, they're taking care of everything. And it's just cool because they're like, screw you boys. Like, we're going to throw like the girl party now.
Right.
And it's such a cool take on, you know, taking the funny, like, we're the wenches of Coalesce, and they're just going to branch off and throw their own good party with that.
Wait, all told, like how many of you guys are involved in the production?
25?
Okay, so that's a good amount of people.
20? Because there's people that don't contribute to the year pre-planning, and there's people that don't contribute at the party as much. You know, if you're pre-planning and you're doing more for the pre-event, then go have more fun during the event. But if you're not available, or if, like, you know, you're far away, or if you just didn't do as much pre-event, then everyone kind of knows, like, okay, I'll take on more roles.
Okay.
At the event.
Yeah, and then what are some of the roles that are like up for grabs for people to have to do?
So, I mean, up for grabs.
I mean, like ticketing, right? Doors.
So there's our ticketing thing that we did. I guess more so it comes down to what can volunteers do on site also. Like working the gate, making sure that the gate's covered, build, strike. We did the Coalesce Cafe. We did
The cafes, like people are actually out there like cooking food and stuff?
So at this property that we're at now in Apple Valley, it has like this built stage, wooden stage, and directly behind it there's like a kitchen, and it's out there and it's like fully built. So we just kind of turned it into hot water, hot cocoa, tea,
Oh, sick.
A cup of noodles, and that was kind of like our first little offering as far as you were able to like pay for something at our event. So that was cool. But I guess your question was like, what roles need to be filled?
Yeah, just like what needs to be done for something of that magnitude?
Making sure all the things get to the property, so making sure that somebody is taking care of that. You know, we don't have a whole lot of people. We all have like jobs and stuff. So
Right.
like making sure that you get New Year's off and the days before, a couple days after, it's not always going to fall on a weekend. So it's like we're making sure we're prepping for this, and we're filling the roles when we see the availability. So if you're going to be available for a week, like we're gonna use you for a week because you're available.
So how much build are you guys? Is it like a whole week of build? Like,
No,
like
I mean,
or
so we made our own stage. Shout out Callie, Regina, and Lucy, and Justin. That's the Coalesce art department. And Justin is our carpenter, and the girls are kind of like the artistic drive behind it. We built our own stage, our own booth, using like barrels and just some wood, and just like made it all light up. And then we also had a backdrop for Coalesce. It was just like the Coalesce logo. But my point is, it was just so lightweight. We weren't building like a stage. Nothing was elevated. There wasn't a bunch of huge things. So build took one night, and it was all done.
Wow. Okay.
And like the guys that ran audio, Emilio and Milo, shout out Emilio and Milo, they brought the shade structure, and we were able to do all of this together the night that we got there, the day that we got there. And having it be like that easy definitely took a load off. Before, it's been a lot harder. Before, it's like you shoot a little higher, you're like, oh, I want to build a big dome. And then the geodome takes 12 hours to make, because everyone's like, why are we building this geodome? Or how does this work? But yeah, it's just all about making sure everybody's getting there to do their job. On site, we probably have like 10 radios. You know, it's super small operation, but like I'll always have one. I was doing a lot of like the Task Rabbit stuff, making sure wood got down to the gate, making sure like all the minor tasks, the important tasks were all taken care of. But as far as like immediate roles, those gotta get set in stone a little more to make the party better. And just making sure that each department can carry itself without the need of another department.
Got it.
And that's just all building. Like a big group of friends having this and developing this, it's been a magical experience, but at the same time, like we're all friends and we all just want to hang out too. So like balancing that out, making sure it stays true, and we're not just like trying to just like win. It's not about winning. It's about like making sure we did what we were supposed to do, but we're also having fun, because when it's not fun, it's not worth it.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I guess outside of, maybe the obvious, like somebody partying too hard and maybe needing some attention, what are some examples of maybe crises you've had to deal with kind of keeping the show going? Because I got to imagine, there had to have been like a sound issue or something.
Yeah. I mean, when you're out there, there's always something happens. One specific one that happened a couple years ago at a Coalesce party, there was this guy that was just too gone off whatever he was gone off of. And, we didn't have a dedicated group or dedicated safe space or dedicated, anybody to really take care of somebody that needed help in that area. Now we have that. It's the safe space that we have at Coalesce, and it's just basically like trip sitting and just making sure people are okay. But the one thing that happened at Coalesce a few years back was just we all had to hold him down, and we all knew him, and it was hard. It was really, really hard, and it brings you together, but it's also like, no, this isn't what friends should be doing. It's what we need to do. Obviously he needs us right now.
Yeah.
But like, that's when it was like, okay, we need security, or like, we need to pay more attention to the safety and the first aid more than anything. Security is not really a big thing. Like, we're all taking care of each other. And since our party is so small and everybody is more family oriented, it's not like there's a bunch of randoms.
Right.
Like, I feel like I met almost damn near everybody at the party. Just like seeing them, waving, passing by, or whatever. So just after that experience with that person, and all of us had to hold him down, it was like, okay, this can't be something we ever like miss again. We need to make sure that someone is here to take care of us.
Right.
And we had somebody, her name was, we had her this year again, Chelsea. Shout out Chelsea. She does our safe space, and she is honestly like one of the just most sweetest humans. And you're able to, like, first interaction I ever had with her, I could tell like, you're probably somebody that calms people down and you don't even know it, or she does know it. But those are the type of people you need to have,
Yeah. And it sounds like that's just part of like the process of navigating growth, right? Because your party, you start out small and the party gets to like a certain critical mass, and it's like, oh, we need infrastructure.
We need
for
more
this
portos.
kind of thing. Yeah.
We need more of this.
Yeah.
We need more of that. But yeah, just kind of battening down the hatches and making sure our party's safe because of the elements and because of...
Yeah, because I mean, you do it New Year, so it's fucking freezing, right?
It's really cold. It gets really cold. And that's another rewarding thing too. If you're out there and just like really struggling, but somehow just like manage to have a good time in that harsh condition, it's so rewarding. Just like climbing a mountain, like it hurts, but that view is nice.
Yeah, because I think there was like a moon tribe this year, like around like December 18th or something. And my friends and I were talking about going, and then we looked at the weather forecast. It's like, oh, it's 20 degrees.
Yeah, 28 degrees, not down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a 4 a.m. set one time at Coalesce, and it was pretty funny. I just had some Jameson on ice in my hydro flask.
Do you guys fuck with the warmers yet, or like like
yeah,
warmers
like,
that you can like tape to yourself?
So we have warmers. Like I'm kind of a freak. I don't really get cold like that.
Okay.
Like, I'll wear like a t-shirt under a sweatshirt and like just short socks, and like not try and bundle up too much. And I'll get cold, but I won't like notice it. The Jameson kind of just shows it. But sorry, what'd you say?
No, just in terms of like staying warm, right? Like,
no. Okay, so we have the hand warmers that we bought like hundreds of them for this year.
Okay, so
and
you do.
They were at the cafe, so if people were like, "Oh, I'm cold," we would just run over there and get them some.
Got it.
It was not something that you could buy, but it was something that we made sure we had for people because it is so cold.
Yeah, I mean it's freezing. Like, and anyone who's done like enough Renegade knows like you kind of have to be very reliant on how you're going to stay warm, right?
Exactly.
Because it's like it can get warm when the sun is out,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, you're like freezing.
The elements, they sneak up on you for sure. And in that environment, like you're letting go, you're partying, you're trying to have the most fun, but you got to take care of yourself first. That's how you're going to have the most fun.
But I guess like Burning Man, right? Part of the ethos is that it's supposed to be challenging, right?
No, it's not supposed to be fun the whole time. Otherwise, you're not having the right experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And I definitely did not have fun the whole time, but I know that I could have enjoyed myself more had I been a little more open-minded, had I been a little more just like comfortable with myself out there. But yeah, can't wait to get back to that for sure.
So I guess look out for it this New Year's.
Yeah.
Sounds like a much better way to spend your New Year's, even though it might be freezing, than like trying to get into some club.
Yeah, so that's a big thing too, is people are like, do I want to go freeze my ass off in the dust and have a really sick time? Or do I want to just pay $90 to go wait in line at bar lines?
Yeah, won't be as sick, but it'll be warmer, right? So it's like,
it's a trade-off.
More comfortable, yeah.
New Year's is definitely, it's an effort to make sure you have fun out there, but yeah, like you said, it's supposed to be a little hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think nothing that's not a little challenging, or nothing's truly rewarding unless it's a little challenging, right?
Exactly.
And then on the burn, are you going this year for 22 or?
As bad as I want to go, I might actually be. We're based in North Hollywood right now. We actually might be moving to the Central Coast for a little bit.
Oh wow, okay.
But
so glad I'm getting you now while you're in LA.
Exactly. That's another reason that I wanted to make this happen, to meet you and to get kind of tap into everything that's down here.
Hell yeah.
But I'm gonna be moving to the Central Coast for a little bit, probably save some money. But that money is gonna open me up to availability to travel more. My job right now, I work fully remote, and it's full time. Anywhere I got internet, I got a job. So I'm good on that, and just making sure to divvy up the time and make it all work.
Got it. So, I think we're kind of coming up on time. I mean, you've talked about a lot, but is there anything you want to sort of plug in the near term?
So coming up, I have the honor of saying that I'm playing on the Woogie stage at Lightning in a Bottle. And I'm opening up the stage on Thursday.
Hell yeah, man. That's like big accomplishment. Congrats.
Yeah, I'm still just shook. Like, my girlfriend Caroline, she has her involvement and was kind of like, hey, like, let's get Josh on the lineup. Like, kind of was trying to get me on Favela, trying to get me maybe in the Compass area. And then she comes back to me like, hey, you're playing the Woogie.
Dude.
And I was just, fuck, sick. Like, that was obviously a dream, and it's about to come true. But I want to shoot higher, Even though it's like an immaculate booking, like, I know that I could probably, like, do it again and try and get myself out there more. like this podcast will help out a little bit, I think.
Hopefully, I do what I can.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate all this. But yeah, just to close, like shout out fucking Coalesce crew, shout out Reflections, everybody that's been involved. Shout out everybody that's ever really supported me and my music. Everybody in college that thought I was crazy for locking myself in my room all night.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I really do appreciate this though. This has been it's been nice to talk about.
Yeah, man. I mean, always happy to support the creative community and rave. And then, you know, what I really appreciate about you is sort of your passion for, you know, it's not about just throwing a good party, and it's not about just, you know, trying to perform, which are great. But I think, you know, you very much have a focus of creating experience.
Yes.
And having kind of an intentional ethos behind what you do.
Yes.
Which I respect a lot. So
yeah, it's all about not selling out.
yeah.
You wanna promote yourself, but you don't want to just do it because that's what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
You want to do it because you want to do it, and I feel like I'm doing it for the right reasons. It's nice to have like Reflections to ruthlessly promote me and my friends just through that vessel,
Right,
but that's what
right.
it's for, and it's for everybody else. It's for us, and that's really what J-Gill's about, is just taking care of everybody else so that they make it to my early sunrise sets.
Yeah.
Or they'll feel bad. Nah, that shit. It's hard to get to my sunrise sets.
I mean, people do, right?
So they're either already there or they're rolling up like, all right, this better be good.
Well, I hope I can catch one for New Year's this year, if I can figure out a way to stay warm.
We'll keep you warm.
Yeah.
We got some things.
Fair enough. Otherwise, folks, don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, we will have links for you to connect with Jay-Woo in the description, or not Jay-Woo, Jay Gill. Dude,
Don't worry.
shout out to Jay-Woo though.
J-Woo.
Yeah, to Jay Gill in the description. Otherwise, see you guys next time. Thank you.